Howdy folks. Today, Sirui has once again given me some lenses that look a lot nicer than what I usually shoot on, even though they cost about the same. Here I have the Sirui Anamorphic 24mm 2.8 1.33x squeeze. And I will explain what all that means and what an anamorphic lens is. But first, let me just throw it on the camera and show you the difference. This shot's on my 16-300 super zoom with my DIY speed booster, and this shot is on the 24mm anamorphic. Anamorphic lenses physically squeeze the image in to give you a wider field of view horizontally, but your full resolution vertically. And so you get this like cinema aspect ratio without actually losing any of the recording area on your sensor. Pretty friggin' sick. This is so strange compared to how I normally film. I feel like I'm in a movie right now. So anyway, today I'm just gonna be doing what I do best and screwing around with this nice piece of gear on a bunch of weird cameras and in ways that it was not intended to be used necessarily. Okay, I'm gonna be switching back to my super zoom now. Also, if I didn't make it clear already, for transparency, this is a sponsored video. Sirui sent me this lens for free, and I have an affiliate code I'll show later. But anyway, I want to throw this thing on the action camera setup, the fan favorite Shark camera, and I'll also do some legit testing on my FX30. Plus, I've also heard if you rotate these lenses so they stretch vertically, or they squeeze vertically instead of horizontally, you can get a taller image, so I want to mess around with that. But anyway, first, let's try the action camera. This 24mm 1.33 squeeze is available in all the regular mirrorless mounts. I got it in micro four thirds because I can adapt that to E-mount or use it on my micro four thirds cameras. So let's power this thing on and see what it looks like. It's actually like respectably wide on here. Again, this camera looks very pink, hard to pull focus on, yada yada, you've heard it before. But it's always easier with a sharp lens, and this lens is pretty sharp. I can get some weird angles because this whole setup is really compact. Because this lens set is for APS-C cameras, it actually gets pretty wide. I got the widest one at 24mm because I knew I'd be putting it on small sensor cameras like that one. And the fun thing is with anamorphic, because it's squeezing the image to be stretched out again later, the real field of view of this 24mm is the same vertically, but actually a lot wider horizontally. So it's really more like a 20 or an 18 or something. I don't know how the math works out. All right, well that works nice. Great little compact setup. Really, it's not that much bigger than the Nightwalkers. It's actually skinnier, just longer. And that setup, although the camera itself has its flaws, I mean, that's a 5.3K anamorphic machine right there. I could put that in my coat pocket. But I know what you people really want to see. You want the Shark camera back. Now that's cinema right there. Now, I'm gonna be totally honest with you folks, this is not gonna look good. In the other video where I adapted the 16mm Nightwalker onto it, that 16mm came out to like a 200, 300mm equivalent. So this, even though it's pretty wide on a normal camera, is going to be just so zoomed in, but it will be anamorphic. And a 1.3x wider image is gonna give us regular 16:9 video out of this 4:3 sensor, which is kind of a fun use case. You could do the same thing with an open gate 4:3 sensor that actually looks good. But let's put it on the Shark cam, because that's just the kind of thing we do around here. I need to steal the flange off my A6600 again. Then after this, we'll throw the anamorphic back on the FX30 and get some better looking experimentation going. But I just know y'all, and I know you want more Shark camera action, so here it is. You need to make sure this goes on the right way, because there's physically a piece of glass in the front of this lens that's stretching the image, and if that goes at the wrong angle, then we don't get the effect. Although later we will be turning it vertical on purpose, but for now just... Ooh, did I break something there? I hope not. It still works. Love a camera that you can just drill straight into and nothing breaks. But yeah, for now we just want horizontal. All right, we got E-mount on there. Throw on the E to micro four thirds, and then our lovely anamorphic lens. Cinema. What on earth is... Oh, I'm stupid. I left the stock lens in there like a dummy. All right, we don't need that. Then get this on there. And just like that, the 480p cinema is ours. The sensor is so small we have a crop factor of something along the lines of 15 to 20x, so the only thing this camera is going to be recording is extreme close-ups, but still it's pretty cool that we're stretching out a 16:9 widescreen image out of a 4:3 awful sensor. And it's the friggin' shark camera. Everybody loves the shark camera. To visually explain what I'm talking about, normally the image out of this camera would look like this, but because of the anamorphic lens, we can stretch it to a more normal aspect ratio. Incredible stuff there. Truly innovative. But in any case, let's stop screwing around and throw this thing on the main camera again. All right, back to a nice shot for now. At this point, you might be wondering, what's the point of stretching an image to get a wider field of view when you could just crop in cinema bars on the top and bottom? There's some current reasons behind it, and there's some history to it. Pardon me while I become extremely stretched. So this is what the image looks like straight out of camera, and this is the full resolution image. So what's being recorded, every single pixel that the camera normally records is being used. Then when I stretch it out again, I'm still using every single pixel. Full resolution on the vertical axis, and on horizontal, every pixel is just 1.3x wider, or 2x, or 1.6. There's a lot of different squeeze factors of anamorphic lenses. Whereas if I just took an image from a normal lens, cropped off the top and bottom, we're losing 25% of the pixels that I recorded, or 50% if you were using a 2x lens. Does this matter for YouTube and social media? Not really, because you're not actually going to notice if it's 4K or 25% more than 4K, but it's for the enthusiasts that care about that kind of thing. And also, the background blur and lens flares just have a different effect to them by using a squeezed lens. The famous one is that like Hollywood sci-fi kind of wide lens flare look. You never get that out of a normal camera. Except actually I sort of do get that effect out of my speed booster because the lens is cracked. If you want good anamorphic flares, buy an anamorphic lens. If you want bad ones, just break your speed booster. The anamorphic look is actually a big reason I went for this lens. I've got a project coming up filming some transition scenes for my buddy's sci-fi movie, some like little spaceships flying around, and anamorphics are just so inherently tied to like big movie feel, action movies, sci-fi movies especially. So I thought this would be a great way to get some of that flare, and you'll see me later this month actually recording those once I make the spaceships and stuff. All right, history lesson time, and this is just stuff I've collected in my brain over the last couple of years from being a camera nerd. If I'm wrong about anything, correct me in the comments. Anamorphic spawned out of Hollywood when people were shooting on physical film instead of digital. Squeezing the image horizontally while it's being recorded onto the film allowed them to pack more widescreen width out of the same frame of film. Physical film is really expensive to buy and to develop, so not wasting any space on your roll is pretty important. So rather than recording a normal frame and cropping off the tops of it, they just squeezed the film so you got wider image out of the same space. And then I guess how they projected that is they would have a physical lens on the projector in the theater and it would stretch it back out as they project, but I'm not sure. That doesn't matter as much in the digital days aside from not wasting resolution, because you know, rolling digital doesn't cost money, but the feel and big screen effect from those days has stuck, and now anamorphic is just a fixation of camera lovers around the world. Now, even though anamorphic lenses have been widely used in Hollywood since like the 50s, it's a very recent development that us amateurs can get them in our hands. These things used to be tens of thousands of dollars, $100,000 up usually. Atlas's Orion anamorphic lens set, which I have a scale model of right here, made a lot of headlines for being the most affordable anamorphic option when they were still about $10,000, and that was in 2017. That's only a handful of years ago that $10,000 anamorphics were like the crazy new budget thing. And now we have companies like Sirui pioneering the truly affordable anamorphics, and really small too. They used to be massive. This is not real size. Okay, history lesson over. I hope you find that as interesting as I do. Quick ad read, and then we'll figure out how to twist this thing vertical and do some crazy stuff. These 1.33x Sureis launched a few years ago for $600. Now I believe they are $400 on sale, because they launched some new bigger ones, but for me, I'll take a bargain when I can get one. Build quality is great, all metal. The focus ring and aperture ring move just how you'd want them to. They're sharp, rich contrast. I mean, you saw the footage, and not even that big. This is a discreet setup. If you're interested in these or any other gear on Surei's site, go to the affiliate link in my description. I get a small kickback, and use code SCRAPWOOD5 for 5% off your order. All right, now I can break this thing, or hopefully not, but modify it. So you can see the lens element in there with those vertical lines that is compressing the image inwards in one direction. But if we can get the lens mounted up vertically, we can have the image compress the other way and turn a 16:9 clip into a taller like 4:3 clip, which is cool. On a bigger lens, you might have a PL mount that you can just straight up rig in whatever direction you want, but these smaller mirrorless ones, it's set in one direction. However, these screws look pretty square to me, so if I just undo this and rotate it 90 degrees, I'm hoping I can just get it to work seamlessly. And that would be fully reversible too. Okay, is this glued down? It is not. And then we rotate, and hopefully the screws line up. And I think they do. It actually is a square. Thank you, Sirui. I thought I was gonna have to drill holes in this flange, which would be fine too, but better to not have to. I'm actually geeking out. I'm excited about this. Oh boy. All right, going back on. And now we have what should be a 4:3 frame. It's like open gate without needing to buy one of those fancy new cameras that has open gate. I might actually be more excited about this than the widescreen. I don't know why, but it's really cool to me. Now, some cameras are nice enough to give you the option to de-squeeze the image in your monitor, but they usually only have a few presets, and obviously that's only for the regular horizontal stretch. So I'm looking at myself like bugged out right now. What's poppin'?
I'm here. You riding with me, right?
Yeah, I only have one seat in my car. Okay, I'll be right out. Okay, I gotta go on a little excursion to get some materials for my next video, and we'll get some cool looking test clips at the sewing store. Should I record those vertical or horizontal? I'm gonna switch it back real quick, just because it's easier to preview in my monitor that way. This was a very spur-of-the-moment supply run, but one I could use to get some test clips. What up? What lens is this? It's Anamorphic. I'll explain more what this trip was about in a video in a few days, but me and my buddy Chase headed to the sewing supply store for some needles and thread. All this is shot on the FX30 with the Sirui Anamorphic.
How tall are you?
You're 6'8".
You're only 6'8". My husband is 6'6", and you look a lot taller than him.
He's lying.
Between chatting with the very nice staff, I was able to get some cool looking shots of the environment.
You're going to use the embroidery needles. Size 14 is normal.
Yeah, we do have those needles.
If you get into something a little more dense, there's called the
I try to go to local stores like this as much as possible. It's always just a better experience. Being able to talk to an actual expert in person is so invaluable.
X1SP.
Yeah.
And the shank is actually stronger,
Oh.
so it doesn't have that flex.
Flex.
Any design where it's going to be dense, where there's a lot of stitching,
Oh, just
especially if it overlays.
deflect.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to grab one of those too.
Your total is 748.
Aside from me forgetting to turn stabilization on, the footage looked really good. Anyway, I gotta wrap this up because this video is shaping up to be way longer than I thought it would be. I've just been having way too much fun with that lens. I just realized it's upside down. I put the lens mount on wrong. Conclusion, anamorphics are fun. There's so much weird things that you can do with them. I don't think they should be pigeonholed as just a widescreen effect. Vertical is a blast. If I had a camera that recorded good 4:3 open gate, I think you can stretch that with a 1.33 to be 1:1, a square. Just all kinds of crazy stuff. Sirui also sent me a anamorphic adapter that does another 1.25. I'm gonna cover this again in a different video because I think there's even crazier things I can do with this, pairing it with zoom lenses, C-mounts, I don't know. But anyway, that's all. Don't impulse buy anything, but if you do make any purchases through Sirui, click on my link. I'll get a little kickback. Thank you for your time. That sewing video will be out on Friday, I think. Something else tomorrow. I don't remember or know what that is yet, but I've been having fun with these daily uploads. I just realized I forgot to stream too. Daily streams at some point every day, maybe. Thank you for your time.